Well, after a rough week 3 slate of predictions, we're here going into week 4 looking to get back on the right track. Let's get into it. Hey, what's going on, everyone? Welcome back into DaBearsDen, an NFL podcast with a Chicago Bears first focus. We're here today with our week 4 pick'ems. We're feeling good about this week. Week 3, our worst week yet on this season with a 6-10 record. It puts us now at a 500 record of 24-24 on the year. We're going to bounce back. I'm feeling good about these pick'ems this week. And look, week 1, 10-6, week 2, 8-8, week 3, 6-10. We're going the wrong direction, but we're going to turn it around this week. Let's get into it. By the way, guys, I'm trying to get to 100 subscribers before the end of September. If you're new to the channel, please go ahead, subscribe, like this video. I'm trying to grow this community here. This is an NFL podcast. We talk a lot of Chicago Bears, but I talk all NFL on here. So it doesn't matter who you're a fan of, you have a place in my community. For the picks this week, once again, we're using the Playoff Predictor website. You can go ahead and pick every single game on this website if you wanted, and keeps track of your records. These are the actual records around the league so far. These are the standings in the divisions. Let's go ahead and get into it with the AFC games. As always, starting off this week, Jacksonville versus Houston. Give me Houston here in an easy one. Jacksonville is looking like one of the worst teams in the league. Where has the first overall pick, Trevor Lawrence, gone? We don't know. But since Thanksgiving last year, he's been one of the worst, if not the worst, quarterback in the league statistically. Jacksonville is 0-8 since that. And man, they are looking rough. Questions are starting to be asked. Doug Peterson said they're evaluating every position, and there's a possibility that we could see a Trevor Lawrence who just got paid $250 million plus, $55 million a year, get benched soon if things don't turn around, which would be absolutely crazy, and he would be benched for co-2021 first round draft pick, Mac Jones. That would be really, really interesting. I think Houston's going to bounce back here. They had a rough loss, got dominated by Minnesota on the road. They're back home. I think they're going to take care of business against a struggling, collapsing Jacksonville Jaguars team. Give me Houston there. Pittsburgh on the road versus Indy. Give me Pittsburgh here. Justin Fields. I think he's going to lock down the job after this week. I think Mike Tomlin's doing the right thing about not naming a starter yet. He wants Justin Fields to be able to come into practice and earn that spot and not think that he's got it locked down. So I think that situation's being handled well. And while Justin Fields isn't lighting the league on fire this year, he's doing enough with that defense to win. And I think that Pittsburgh is sneakily one of the best teams in the league right now because of how strong their defense is. They're undefeated, they're 3-0, they're finding ways to win. And it doesn't matter how you win. It matters, do you win or do you lose? And that's all that matters. They're 3-0. I think, with a struggling Anthony Richardson, who is really bad, leads the league in turnovers this year. I think he's going to throw a couple picks again this week against TJ Watt, and that's an easy one as well. Up next, Nathaniel Hackett revenge game. Give me the Jets here. I think the Jets are looking pretty good. Aaron Rodgers is really kind of getting back into it. They've got weapons with Breece Hall and Garrett Wilson and Allen Lazard, Mike Williams, and so on. And defense is looking pretty good. Aaron Rodgers has been pretty nice so far this year. And Bo Nix is struggling. He's looking like a rookie. Can't really fault him for that. But I just think that, he's going to need a bit more practice and reps and a couple more live games before he can really kind of, before we can really kind of decide if he's, going to be an NFL quarterback or not. I think the Jets are looking good. Jets are at home. I like Jets here. Up next, Kansas City versus the Chargers. We don't know if Justin Herbert's going to play this week. Get Kansas City on the road here. Kansas City hasn't looked fantastic. They didn't look too great against Atlanta. Got bailed out with a couple no calls. Shocker. But, I think, even if Justin Herbert does play, he's not going to be at full strength. And, if he doesn't play, then I rule him out completely. I think Harbaugh's a good coach. I think they have a winning formula with a run-first offense. But, I just think Kansas City on the road here, maybe a second home game depending on how many of the fans travel. Give me Kansas City here. Cleveland versus Vegas, dumpster fire game of the week, in my opinion. Give me Vegas here. Talks about benching Gardner Minshew, that would be wild. I'm starting to think that Devontae Adams might not finish the season a Raider. He might get traded. But with that being said, I just think that Cleveland coming off a weird loss to the Giants last week, Deshaun Watson is, not looking great, and I really like Vegas here in this game. I think that, at home it's just you don't know what you're getting with Cleveland every week, right? And I guess you don't necessarily know with Vegas here. They look decent and then they look bad last week. But give me Vegas here. I think they'll find a way to do it. I think that's going to be a miserable game to watch, in my opinion. And I apologize if you're a fan of either of those teams, but I wouldn't be surprised if you agreed with me. Up next, Buffalo versus Baltimore. Give me Buffalo on the road here. Look, I think that Buffalo is the best looking team so far through the first 3 weeks. I think they're going to come in here and they're going to dominate. I think this is going to raise concerns about Baltimore. They've looked rough. Even last week with their first win of the year against Dallas, they almost blew the game in the second half with a huge lead that they had. Baltimore seems like they're struggling. They can't play a full game. And, I think that they'll find their way. I think, they will kind of eventually return to one of the better teams in the AFC, but right now it's not the case, and I think Buffalo is just too hot, and Josh Allen's playing some of the best ball of his career, and he's protecting the football, and that's important. Up next, this is the dumpster fire game of the week, actually, looking at this. No Tua. Miami looks, lost without Tua, and Will Levis looks absolutely horrible. I think that I don't even know who I want in this game. Like, I've I'm gonna pick Miami here. I think Tennessee's so bad. I think Will Levis is so bad that I think, whoever Miami starts at quarterback, I think they're gonna find a way to get it done. Cincy versus Carolina. Cincy's gonna start 0-4. Cincy's gonna start 0-4. The Red Rifle's gonna go back against his old team, and he's gonna make them go 0-4 and effectively end their season. I don't know if it will actually end their season, but with how tough the AFC is, 0-4 might be a hole that Cincy cannot climb out of. Um, that's what I got to say about that. Next, New England versus San Francisco. New England's coming off a mini bye. That doesn't matter. I like San Francisco here. Purdy's a little bit dinged up, but I don't think it's going to matter too much. I just think that there's too much of a roster mismatch here for that to matter, and that's where I stand with that one. Finally, we'll go with the NFC games here. Thursday night, this game is today. Give me the Giants here in a crazy upset. I think that the Dallas is kind of fraying a little bit. I think that there's some locker room kind of problems going on inside that isn't really published to the media, but something's not right there. And Dallas has dominated New York over the past couple of years, but I think like this is a game that's kind of like it's going to come out of nowhere and people are going to be surprised. And I think Malik Neighbors is going to have a good game and Daniel Jones is going to look decent. And I think this is going to be kind of the alarms go off, the red flags are all the way out. And, the lame duck Mike McCarthy might be on his way out if they lose the game. I wouldn't think so. But Dallas is going to erupt. But give me the Giants in a big upset. Minnesota versus Green Bay. This is a tough one because we don't know if Jordan Love is playing yet, at least at the point of recording this video. I'm going to take Minnesota here. I think Minnesota looked really, really good. Both these teams have looked pretty solid. But I think Sam Darnold is really just balling right now, and I don't know how long this is going to last. Maybe it'll last the whole season. Maybe he's found his home. He's only 27 years old, right? But as of right now, I think that they are the clear front runner for the NFC North, at least how they've looked through the first 3 weeks. And I think that they're going to continue that this week, especially if Jordan Love doesn't play. Even though Malik Willis has got them 2 wins, it's been against some weaker opponents, but I think, Minnesota here on the road is going to come in and get it done. But these teams always play each other tough. Always. The NFC North games are always a battle. Up next, Bears versus the Rams. This one could really go either way. I'm going to take the Bears because they're at home. Last week was the Rome Odunze breakout game, and it was the Caleb Williams breakout game. Yes, he had 2 picks, a fumble that wasn't his fault, but he threw for 363 yards. It was not garbage time yards. Some people are saying that, but when you're down 12 points with 17 minutes left, that's not garbage time. You're in the game. I think that this is going to be a stack win. They lost last week, but they're going to build off what they did. Keenan Allen's likely going to be back. Some continuity at the offensive line, assuming Darnell Wright plays. But I just think that the Bears at home here, this is going to be a big win, and this one's going to be kind of the okay, here they come game. They're kind of waking up. Rome Odunze's alive. Roshan Johnson, it was reported today that he's going to get an extended look this week. I think that's going to be absolutely massive, and I think the run game is going to kind of really develop this week. And obviously, the Rams, I like the Rams, like Matt Stafford, but with no Cooper Kupp, no Puka Nacua, they got it done last week. I just think on the road here, it's just not going to happen this week. Philly versus Tampa. This one's tough. You don't know what Philly you're getting. Are you getting the Philly in week 1 that won the shootout against Green Bay, or are you getting the Philly that just, barely snuck by New Orleans and lost to Atlanta the week before? I think Tampa's going to bounce back here at home. Sam Barkley's been, an MVP candidate. I just think that Baker's going to have a game. I think they're going to bounce back, and that's where I'm at with that one. Atlanta versus New Orleans. I was hot on New Orleans. I thought it was real. I think that they're going to be pretty decent this year. They're definitely going to be better than I thought. Give me Atlanta here, though. Atlanta's shown some promising signs. I think they really got hosed by the officiating in the Kansas City game last week. They would definitely had a chance to win that. But they're definitely looking good. Bijan Robinson is one of the better running backs in the league. Kyle Pitts is kind of starting to come alive. They got Darnell Mooney, obviously Drake London, and Kirk's looked pretty good so far this year. So, give me Atlanta at home there. Washington versus Arizona. Give me Washington on the road here. Kind of the opposite of Bo Nix. I think Jaden Daniels is having that welcome to the NFL season where he's going to be really hot for the start of the season. I think as teams find more film on him and kind of draw up some new defensive game plans, that's not going to work so much. And I think that his gameplay is going to fall off as the season goes on, whereas Bo Nix and Caleb Williams trend upwards. But with that being said, he looked fantastic, played a great game against Cincinnati on Monday Night Football, set the rookie completion percentage record with 91%. And they're looking good. Austin Eckler's been ruled out with a concussion, so that might be a huge loss for them. We'll see. But Terry McLaurin got involved last week, and I think Jaden Daniels is good, and the team has a lot of momentum right now, so we'll see. And then finally, Seattle versus Detroit. I remember this game, it was either last year or 2 years ago, or it was a crazy shootout. I want to say it was last year where Seattle took it. I'm gonna do it again. Seattle's gonna win on the road again and go to 4-0. They're looking good, and I think that I've been saying it all year in these videos. Detroit's due to struggle this year, in my opinion, and I think it's coming. And I think this is going to be the start of it. And so we're going to see Minnesota at the top of the North 4-0, and the rest of the North is going to be 2-2. That's my prediction. So these are my picks for this week. Let me know down below. Do you guys agree? Are there games that you think I got wrong? What did I get right? Did I get any upsets right? Do you agree with? As always, I appreciate you tuning in and listening. It really means the world to me. And we will see you in tomorrow's video. As always, bear down and have a good one.